Hello and welcome back to the Common Colt Podcast, a Colts podcast which gives authentic takes without clickbait. I'm Josh Hudgens, back to talk about the Colts head coaching search, which has been a fun one, as you guys all know, and the news hasn't stopped coming. The most recent news is this. Hey, the Colts are considering a third round of interviews with a select few head coaches. And this interview process has been super intensive. I was reading on Twitter, some reporters are saying that these interviews are lasting up to 12 hours in length, much more extensive than some other teams have had. And that leads me to the question of, why are the Colts taking so long? Why are the Colts doing this? What's going on? And I want to unpack all that. But if you know me and if you know the Common Colt Podcast, we like to give one-word reactions to big Colts news. So I want you guys to comment your one-word reaction. And if you're a subscriber, we're on the path to 1,000. So make sure you're subbed and comment your one word. And I'm going to try to respond to you if you're a subscriber with that comment. So anyway, my one word is this. It's McDaniels. And I know some Colts fans are starting to get PTSD or shake a little bit when I think about a Colts coaching search and I mentioned Josh McDaniels. But I think they're learning something from that coaching search a few years ago. Keep in mind, that was Chris Ballard's first hire for the Colts. And Jim Irsay's obviously done this for a long time, and you never stop learning. But the Colts really were embarrassed when Josh McDaniels told them no. And I think they learned that they're going to have to understand this coach a little bit better, and he's going to have to make sure he fits what they need. So looking at that, and I think it's going to get a lot deeper in a second here. I really want to explain why this head coaching hire is probably one of the biggest ones they've had in the last 15 years. But before I get to that, I want to mention that they haven't really had a standout candidate either. I mean, obviously Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh were kind of the sexy head coaching candidates this year. The Colts were never in the running for that. So they had the choice of some really good candidates like Brian Callahan and Raheem Morris, but none of these guys are perfect. So the Colts are doing their diligence and making sure this guy, whoever he is prepared for what he's about to walk into, which is a less than perfect situation. And obviously most head coaches aren't going to walk into a perfect situation. Now you think about 15 plus years ago when Jim Caldwell took over the Indianapolis Colts after Tony Dungy retired. He had a Hall of Fame quarterback. The Colts were clicking at all cylinders. That was as close to perfect as you get for a new head coach. And he started the season 14-0 and they went to the Super Bowl. But that's not realistic. The Colts don't have a quarterback. They're the laughing stock of the NFL. There's dysfunction in the locker room. Obviously, Kenny Moore has posted weird tweets about not happy with game plans. Naheem Hines requested a trade and got traded. So there's just more dysfunction in the Colts than there's been in a long time. So whoever this head coach is, he's going to have to be a leader, and he's going to have to be able to calm the storm, which is inside the locker room and outside the locker room, because the media perception of the Colts does matter. Because when you think about free agents and people who might go to the Colts, they're going to be looking at the situation, and if they're a laughing stock, then nobody's going to want to go there, whether that's assistant coaches or players. So when I think about why this could be so important and one of their biggest head coaching searches in the last 20 years is because if they screw this up, somehow, if the Colts mess this hire up, the Colts are going to become a team like the Cleveland Browns. You think about, we screwed up the Chuck Pagano one. And now the Frank Reich one didn't work out. We would be on our third straight head coach who has just not been very successful. Chuck Pagano, he was blessed by Andrew Luck. He had a winning record. You could say that about Frank Reich. He didn't have a losing record. But these guys failed to meet expectations. The Colts were consistently a team that disappointed. Roster help or not, these guys are disappointing. So to go to our third head coach and just the recent last few years with the quarterback in and out quarterback situations, the Colts are becoming quickly mediocre, and they've lost their luster of being a top class organization in the NFL. So I think in Jim Irsay's mind, he's so plugged in, his daughter's so plugged in, because they want to make sure this team kind of gets right back on trajectory. And I think it's important because Irsay bleeds blue and white. And I know you could say a lot about Jim Irsay as an owner, or his personal life, and the mistakes he's made. But one thing that Jim Irsay is a guy who loves his football team and he wants them to win. Not all NFL owners are like that, so I think Colts fans can consider themselves lucky that our owner does care. And I think that's part of the reason why this head coaching search has taken so long, is because they truly want to get this right. So guys, let me know what you think. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. And again, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching the Common Colt Podcast.